Tonight, we are going to be discussing the engagement of the deaf. However, it's not what it sounds like, right? This particular discussion of the deaf doesn't relate to those who cannot hear, but it relates to those who choose not to hear, okay? The biggest question of the night is, who is actually listening anymore? Let's ask ourselves that, like, who is really listening anymore? Do you guys know how to listen? I know that sounds minute, right? Forgive me. But this is a real question. We got to ask ourselves, right? Who's really listening anymore? And when was the last time you actually listened to someone without looking down at your phone, without thinking of the next words you wanted to say before they finished with saying what they had to say? Or even cutting off a person to insert your very own opinion. When was the last time you really listened? All right, let's talk. So we've come to a place of deaf, what is considered deaf engagement, okay? Where everyone is communicating, but not one of us is listening. It's actually listening, okay? So we've all been taught to lead throughout a conversation, but we've never been taught to follow it. Can you follow me? I'm in the middle of discussion. You can't do that right now. I just told you that. Go chill out. All right. So, oftentimes we miss what's even being said. In terms of our conversations, we're always looking to define or to find ourselves in what is being said to us. We have to try to not bring up ourselves all the time when our loved ones need to be heard by us. We always make it a us thing, right? Sometimes it just requires us to just listen. Écouter, that's French. Écouter, listen. All right, so we also like to attempt to shape the narrative, right? Or to control the narrative in these conversations. All right, so it's not what you think it is. It's exactly what that person that's talking to you is saying it is. And we got to start taking words for face value. Stop trying to look for something else hidden in what somebody's telling you and take what they're telling you for what it is. All right? Moving on. Next, we got to learn to stay on the subject. This is big. Or the topic. And not to insert our new ideas into the discussion, causing one to feel as if what they're saying is of no importance to us. The value in the conversation is always being placed on what we are projecting out or saying versus what the other individual is saying to us and what we should be absorbing from this conversation. So the development of this one skill, listening, will enhance the level of respect and love in every relationship that we have. So people feel appreciated when their opinions and thoughts are valued by the other individual. Listening has always been more valuable than speaking. Let me repeat that. Listening has always been more valuable than speaking. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you can answer why that is the case, right? But we're going to go on to discuss why that's the case. When we're listening, we're learning new things and absorbing new ideas outside of our own. But when we're speaking, we're only attempting to make others aware of what we already know, right? So we have to learn to communicate, not just communicate, but effectively communicate. All right? And effective communication makes both individuals feel as though their thoughts, their opinions, their ideas are all of importance. So what you're saying is important as well as what I'm saying is important. And we should both feel that way when we're engaged in conversation with one another. All right? So both people will feel satisfied with the direction of where the conversation is going. All right? Now let's get deep into this. When we lack the ability to listen, we get ready to talk about the difference between listening and hearing an individual. A lot of people just hear you, but they're not really listening. We don't talk about the difference in what that is. So when we lack the ability to listen to one another, we run the risk of ruining potentially good relationships in our life, right? It's fundamental to the success of any relationship, business, friendship, or more. So listening helps us to engage. It helps us to understand, to connect with the other individual. And it also helps us to empathize as well as develop our relationships. It helps to develop us as human beings. What do you think? God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, right? So we got to always be slow to speak and quick to listen. And that's James chapter 1:19. It says, know this, my beloved brothers. Let every person be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. Proverbs 19:27 says, cease to hear instruction, my son, and you will stray away from words of knowledge. So lack of listening could cause us to make foolish decisions in our life and stray away from knowledge, simple as put.